Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we have another discussion video. So we have covered pretty much the same author of this thread. So we did one about the navies of Calradia, that's on my channel. This is also by the same person. Like I said before, you guys should go check him out. He has a lot of proposed mechanics. They're very detailed, they fit with the game, and I do enjoy reading them. As you can see right here, he also posts all his other ones. And oh, would you look at that? Thanks to me. Oh, cool, nice. Look at that. Appreciate it. Look at that shout out right over here. I didn't even see it the first time I skimmed through this. Very cool. But all right, so this one just came out today, and about 10 hours ago. So yeah, still today. We're gonna go over it. I'm gonna link it down in the description. If you like it, if you agree with it, go comment on the thread, you know, upvote it, whatever you want to do, show support. Like I said before, he puts in a lot of work into these what do you call it, these concepts or mechanics, right? And there's a lot of them. I am going to go over some more of his previous ones, but I'm also just decided to do this one because it just came out, right? So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the title is Proposed Mechanics, Feasts, and Tournaments. Hello, the ability to hold feasts was one of my favorite mechanics in Warband. I agree. Even if the options were limited, I still got a kick out of gathering all my pals in one place. I've seen a lot of ideas kicked around, and I want to propose how I envision feasts and tournaments could work in Bannerlord. I usually also post these to the Tailwork forums if there are any interest/feedback from the Reddit community, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I've also started to teach myself to mod for Bannerlord, so I hope to maybe bring some of these ideas to life myself as mods in the future. Yes, listen, hey, you have good ideas, and if these were, you know, actual mods exactly how you envision them, I think they'll be very good. So continue, get to it, you know. I need to see those mods, you know. But okay, let's see. So feasts. So first we're gonna do feasts, then we're gonna do feast random events, then we're gonna do plots, other feast activities, and we're gonna move on to tournaments. Okay. So let's start with feast. To hold a feast, player would speak to the steward of a castle/city. Every castle/city could come with a randomly generated steward, a mechanic I proposed here. Let's see, this mechanic. Proposed mechanic. Where is the steward? Oh, this long one. Alright, so let's read this real quick. So steward, much as in the castle post, every city would come with a randomly generated steward, a governor that can be appointed, taking most of the functions of the steward. The steward/governor can be asked to undertake the following actions/policies. So he can increase militia patrols, random events and decisions, siege workshops. Stewards can be asked to send letters and arrange rendezvous with other lords. Should a lord be involved in a plot? Should a lord involved in a plot enter the city, there is a very small chance the steward will learn of the plot. Okay. Investigate criminal gang, raid gang, bar merchants. Okay. Hold a tournament, hold feast. Okay, so he's kind of like the governor. He just does all that type of stuff. Okay. So the first one for feast is to hold a feast. The player would speak to the steward, which is like the governor of the castle or city. Okay, so you have to talk to him about, you know, holding that feast. Okay, I agree. The player could choose how lavish they wish the feast to be. The bigger the feast, the more influence and relationship gained with the attendees. Kind of like how you can have a caravan like a normal one, and then with higher troops, kind of like something like that. In terms of that, like maybe like a speech option, right? Like, oh, I want one that's more lavish, or hey, I don't, you know what I mean? Can I do something smaller? Okay, yeah. Feast would last three days to a week, depending on how elaborate it is. Okay, so it's like a bigger boost the bigger the feast is. Okay. Feasts are expensive. Players would pay 10k upwards for a decent event. Again, with the prices, I think this... Well, actually, no. In terms of feast, yeah. 10k. I think 10k... I forgot the warband prices. What are the warband prices? Hold on, let me... Okay, so I just read over how to pretty much host a feast in Warband, and it's not that expensive, so I guess the 10k kind of makes sense. Plus, you know, obviously you gotta gather the food and stuff like that. I don't know if that's gonna be said later, but I like the concept of, you know, making sure you're stocked up with food and stuff of that nature. Now, the steward could be asked to invite specific lords, but lords can also show up without specific invitation. Lords not on campaign will always be keen to attend a feast, and so attendance will generally be good. Although if the kingdom is in the middle of a war or the host is hated, that could affect things. Okay. So based on relationship, if a lord has too negative a relationship, he's not going to show up, or things of that nature. Now, attendees would provide gifts that the player would receive upon speaking to the attendee at the feast. Attendees with poor relations to the host could provide gifts that function more like an insult, a bag of grain. Okay, that sounds kind of cool. Okay. While friendly NPCs could provide cool, unique items. The cost of items would always still be outweighed by the expense of the feast, however. Would still always be outweighed by... Okay, so you don't ever want to have, like, you get more gifts than you actually paid, so it's like a, you know what I mean? You can pretty much, it'd be a form of income, even though it has to be kind of an expense if you're hosting your own. I understand. Okay. And the whole bag of grain is kind of like the, I don't know if people have seen it, but it's a Netflix movie. It's called The King. And during, I don't want to do any spoilers, right? But the king, or like the young king, who he used to be kind of like a reject, not then he became a king. Some other king supposedly sent him like a ball for his, I forgot if it was for his birthday or for his marriage or something like that. But he sent him a ball, and then a whole war started because of it. Because it was kind of like an insult, kind of like over here, like a bag of grain. But check out The King, man. It's a good movie. I think it's a very solid movie for what it is. And it's kind of historically accurate. Not completely, but kind of. It's there. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. So feast would have a purpose. This would be agreed with the steward beforehand. Some options could include... Oh, okay, so each... Okay. Birth of a new child, funeral, invitees who fail to attend will suffer significant relationship hits. Ooh, okay. Coronation of a new... I think I'm saying that wrong. Coronation of a new ruler reserved for rulers. All non-hostile rulers and the kingdom's clan leaders are expected to attend. Should they fail to, they fail to send a representative in their place. Relationships will be significantly hit. Okay. Peace treaty reserved for rulers. The rulers of both formerly warring parties will be expected to attend. These could be fraught events given the bad blood that may have arisen during the war. Okay. Weddings, large events with all members of both clans being invited. I like that some of these, if you don't show up, there will be a negative to it. But if that is the case, you also will have to give a good amount of time to the player to get to these events, because sometimes you might try your best to get there and you don't, and then these can just stack up, and all of a sudden everybody hates you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they should give an ample amount of time to get there. But I do agree that, having some benefits of showing up and some, some problems when you don't. I think that's a good idea. Okay, feast random events. Random events would be a percent chance of firing every day. These events will be defined by the culture of the host and the relationships of the attendees. Here are some examples of events that may occur. The player will either be informed by message, or the event will fire when they enter the Lord's Hall. Insult to my honor. Our Lord declares that another has treated him with disrespect. The Lord may choose to use his charisma to smooth the situation over, or permit a duel in the arena. Okay. Then we have Cupid's arrow. A lord expresses his admiration for a lady attending the feast. He asked the player for an introduction. Okay. Drunken lord. A lord has partaken too much. It is up to the host to smooth things out, or failing that, eject the lord from the feast. Okay, it gives you a little choice. And we have foolish servant. A servant from a prominent merchant family in the town has spilt a jar of wine over Lord X. Lord X is displeased and demands the servant is punished. Ooh. It's kind of okay. I kind of like that. And then you can either choose to, punish. I guess your servant, right? Or you choose not to punish your servant. Well, like if you punish your servant, something like you'll lose loyalty in the town or whatever that you're hosting in, right? But if you stick up for your servant, then you lose reputation with the other lord. That would be cool, yeah. Okay. Etc., etc., etc. Ideally, these events would be easy to program, so hopefully there would be a dozen of them. I'm keen to hear your ideas. I like this. I can't think off the top of my head some more ideas, but I like these ideas, good ones. Next one, plots. A feast would also be the opportune moment to enact a plot. Attendees may speak with each other and arrange some of the options below. Should the feast be taking place in a city, an attendee may also enlist the assistance of a friendly criminal gang to assist. Ooh. If anyone has... Yes, we need more gang activity. Do you understand me? Well, actually, no, that sounds kind of bad. My bad, that sounds kind of bad. You know what I mean? It's like the bad... That's not the thing that I want to support. You know what I mean? But in the game, we need more gang activity. We'll need them to do something else than sit in that chair and give me quests. Do you understand me? Okay, let's move on. So, where were we? If anyone has played Crusader Kings 2, then they should be able to imagine what I mean. You speak to one lord to start the plot and then enlist as many to ensure it succeeds. The more who support it and the strength of their positions aid in the chance of success. I speak more about how the mechanic could work here. I have also talked about this, but not like a plot, pretty much, but I talked about kind of like how a clan can become negative towards the kingdom and then talk to members of the kingdom, and they pretty much do speech checks, and if one of their speech checks fail, then if they succeed, then that lord will keep quiet until the rebellion happens, and they start becoming negative towards you and like leaving the clan, or if they do speech checks and they fail, and it's with a clan that has very good reputation with you, right? Let's say you're the ruler and it's a clan that has very good reputation with you. They're going to come to you and they're going to like stop you and be like, hey, this guy tried to change, this guy tried to become a traitor and try to make me a traitor as well. You know what I mean? Stuff of that nature. I don't know if that's exactly how it works here, but I have talked about this in the past. I think that would give it a lot of depth. And I know Crusader Kings is very, it's not, how do I say it? Not in depth, but kind of like, it's kind of complex. I know the third one is coming out soon. I am going to be playing the third one, and I'm going to be covering it on my channel. That's probably how I'm going to get into the series, but I have seen some gameplay, and it looks pretty cool. Let's see. Is this a long read for this mechanic? Where is it? Feast. Hold on. I think it explains it here anyways. Okay. So, humiliate Lord X. In this, the plotters drug the Lord in question so he makes a fool of himself, taking a hit of his influence relationships with all in attendance, especially the host. Okay? Imprison Lord X. In this, plotters manufacture some wrongdoing to land the offending Lord in prison. Okay? Murder Lord, obviously to, get rid of him. Sour relationships between Lord X and Lord Y. The plotters stir up bad blood between the two lords. Okay. The player could also be the target of these plots. The chance of the player being warned ahead of time would be determined by their roguery skill and their relationships with other attendees at the feast. A player without an heir cannot be murdered. Ooh, you see, this is exactly what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm saying. Like, there's a chance it happens to the player, but he might be warned by one of his, like very close, like, what's it called, clans in terms of like relationship. Yes. Agree again. Other feast activities. Should the feast be hosted by Sturgians or Khazaits, and upon speaking with the attendees, the player may challenge or be challenged to a friendly duel with wooden weapons in the Lord's Hall. This would look like a bandit hideout boss fight, but in the Lord's Hall and surrounded by the ladies and lords of the court, instead of the smelly ruffians. Okay. Winning increases influence and relationship with all involved. Board game tournament. In order to keep entertained, the player may partake in a knockout tournament against the other attendees of the feast's board game of choice. Winning increases influence relationship with all involved. I think there should be some gambling too. Just saying. I think there should be some gambling. You know what I mean? In all of these. Make it interesting, Keen to hear your suggestions. Yeah, make it interesting. Put some of that gambling in there. Some of them dinars, Now, let's move on to tournaments. That was feasts. I mostly agree with all this stuff, I want to see how they do implement it, right? We're going to see, but like you stated, get into mods. I want to see it. I don't know about soon, but, whenever you are ready. But let's move on to the next thing. There's tournaments. Instead of tournaments happening automatically, I propose that they are held by... sorry about that. Instead of tournaments happening automatically, I propose that they are held at some expense to the player and also organized through the steward. Okay. Oh, should like the expense of the town, right? So let's say if you take over the town, then all of a sudden, whenever a tournament happens, you kind of have to pay up. Yeah. Or you get like the choice of like, hey, do you want to host a tournament? It's gonna boost all the loyalty in your boost the loyalty and like the prosperity of your town, but at the same time, your profits will go down for like a week, or you have to pay some amount of money right there and then. You know, I think that would kind of make sense. You know, and then like so you could kind of boost the stats if you really need to, or not if you don't need to, and stuff of that nature. Yeah, I think so. Players can decide the prize money on offer. The higher the prize money, the better level troops that take part of the glory for the greater glory of winning. For winning. Okay. Players also players would also be able to invite certain lords to participate. Okay, yeah. Tournaments can be held as part of a feast. Okay. The player may choose the fighting styles for the tournament. Yeah, I agree with all those. Anyways, there are some ideas. I love Bannerlord and see it having almost limitless potential. The art and character design is beautiful, but I feel like characters lack personality and the world needs more life. I have no doubt by the time the thing is done, I can't read today, I'm sorry. It will be a much more alive place. Thanks for reading, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Boom, bada bang, bada bing. I like this shout out, by the way, my guy. But yeah, I thought out mechanic, you know. Like always, I do agree with most of this. I do. Like the other points I stated, you know, the gambling part and stuff of that nature. But all in all, yes. Yes. And I do agree with the fact that he says, you know, that it has a lot of, it does, as a base game, like, it does what it's supposed to. Like, you, right now in the game, here's the thing. It's bare bones, right? Because there's not a lot of content, right? There's not a lot of depth. But what the game does have a lot of, it's just like, it has a very strong base, if that kind of makes sense, right? And a lot of stuff can be built from that base. They're just not there yet, right? But the game's very much playable. It's just like, I wouldn't call it a skeleton only. It's like a skeleton with some skins, but there's not organs, if that kind of makes sense. It's getting kind of weird. Let me stop with this analogy. But listen, like always, like I said before, if you do agree with this, let me know what you think below. I'm going to link this down below if you guys want to check it out. Like I said, show him some love if you enjoy his ideas. But like always, let me know any questions, concerns, and stay safe.